kitchen. I'm Cynthia, and today I want to help you understand how you can get the probiotics you need without spending a lot of money while still ensuring they're of good quality. The probiotics I love cost around $40, sometimes even $50. Depending on my gut health and digestion, they last me no more than a week or so. I want to show you how to extend the life of these probiotics and how to make your own probiotics at home, just like they did in the old days. I'm giving it a little extra spin because what I do for my clients is about bringing the body back into alignment. Otherwise, a simple yogurt starter pack would be sufficient. What I do is make yogurt, but with coconut milk because I can't have cow's milk or any other animal milk. I prefer coconut milk because it's creamier and stays a little bit more like a yogurt-ish consistency after making it using a yogurt maker. I make my own, but with a little help from the probiotics I buy at the store. You can also use any device that keeps liquid warm, a coffee mug warmer, or some slow cookers have a yogurt setting. I'm going to show you what I do, but there's also a method to cook them on the stove top. I'll leave a recipe for that below. First, I take a couple of cans of coconut milk and pour just enough in the yogurt maker to make a bit of yogurt. To extend the probiotics and not have to buy them as often, I put half a packet or half a capsule in each of these cups and then mix them well with coconut milk to start the growth. The smell you want is like any very good quality yogurt. It's kind of like making bread with yeast. It kind of doubles in size just by letting it grow. I cover it, put it back in the yogurt maker and heat it, and it heats from the bottom. I leave it for about a day or however long I want. There are some recipes online that you can find. This device is called Cosmopolitan by Salto, and you can order it on eBay. Once the yogurt is ready, I refrigerate it and it stays like yogurt. I like to add monk fruit as a sweetener. If you're in the US, you can buy it at Costco, not necessarily this brand, but it's pretty cheap there. I also add a stevia brand, Whole Foods 365, which I prefer over others that leave a bitter aftertaste. I add about 1 or 2 scoops of that and it always stays nice and sweet. I also like lime flavored yogurt, so I zest a lime and add the zest to each cup, squeeze the juice and mix it in as well. You can add whatever flavor you like. You can add chocolate, add strawberries, whatever you'd like to do. But let's talk about the store-bought probiotics for a second. I have a few different kinds. I really like raw probiotics from Garden of Life, but I want you to take note of a couple of different things. You may note most places have the 400, well, the billion count. This is how many colonies basically there are. But what you want to pay attention to as well is the different kinds of strains. If you notice, this one has 34 probiotic strains, and that's about the most I've ever seen at the grocery store. This one, it's less of a count. You see 50 billion, and it has 33 probiotic strains. So that strain is important. It's actually more important, well, maybe not more important, but just as important as how many units you have. This is because each of these different strains do something different. They flip a different switch of your genes because these things are working with your gut. Now, those are the ones that I like to use when I'm just on a maintenance dose. But here's what I like to use. These are some big old packets. These cost a pretty penny. And if you look at it, what we're looking at are the different strains of bacteria, and we are looking at a 225 billion CFU. That's the unit of measurement for probiotics. So that's a hefty dose. And that's what you want when you're having, say, an overgrowth in your intestines. If you have an infection, really, you don't call it an infection because everything needs to stay in a balance. But if you've got an overgrowth, then you need something like this bad boy to help you get it back into balance. Or if you're going like we were through toxic mold exposure and you're trying to recover from it. Another thing I like to do is ferment vegetables. I haven't tried fish or meat yet, but you can also ferment fruit. That's chutney if you want to look up a chutney recipe. My sister gifted me this. It's a little package from Farm Curious, which had these lids in them. This has other tools, and there were kefir grains, which are for making tobiko and kefir, and then a big old SCOBY for kombucha. But these lids help with the fermentation process. You kind of assemble it like so, and then this little piece right here lets the air out, so you don't have to keep on going back to it, pressing it down. So what you generally do is you get some vegetables or whatever you're going to ferment, you stick it in one of these jars, you cover it with water and put salt in, and then put the top on and just let it sit for weeks and let it ferment. Since Holden had an overgrowth of fungus, I focused on giving him good bacteria for his gut. So that's what you want to pay attention to when you're adding probiotics in your diet. Probiotics come in two kinds, bacteria and fungi. They're both necessary in the intestines to help cleave molecules like proteins as part of the digestive process, and they work symbiotically with the cells in your body, switching on certain genes while silencing others. Probiotics got my son Holden to speak again within 4 months after he had become autistic and lost all his language. Not even 4 months of speech therapy did what these little gut bugs did. It's also implicated in improving depression and other mental disorders because most of your neurotransmitters are synthesized in the intestines through this process. However, if you do have a yeast overgrowth, otherwise known as Candida, enjoying a little wine is a no-no. You're going to have to give it up while you try and beat down the yeast overgrowth. But once you do, you can return to having a little, kind of like me. All that being said, if you're an autism parent or someone with depression, don't go out and throw all your money away at just a good probiotic quite yet. First, you need to find out what sort of probiotic you need. There are so many different types of fungi and bacteria in your intestines that need to be in the proper balance. You need to get a 3-day stool test to really know what's going on in there. If there's an overgrowth there of anything, it can lead to a problem if you add more of it. So testing will find out which of the strains you need and for how long you need to take a therapeutic dose. A functional nutritionist like me can tell you how, but it will be unique to your situation. For example, someone given 5 rounds of antibiotics who has developed Candida might have a different need from someone who got Moctezuma's revenge and hasn't fully recovered their microbiome from that attack of an overgrowth of bacteria. Any kind of metal toxicity also, be it from working in a smelting plant or as a dentist, or getting a toxic load from dialysis, vaccines, medication, deodorant, the foods that you eat on aluminum, that will also suppress good bacteria. It's important to determine what you need by testing first, and then find the right probiotic strain for that. While trying to consume beneficial bacteria, you also need to avoid foods that feed harmful bacteria and fungi. Eating too much sugar feeds bad fungi, while eating high fiber foods feed good bacteria. Diet is crucial. Prebiotics are foods that feed probiotics, resulting in good or bad bacteria, depending on what you eat. I'll leave a link to the diet and tests you can do for yourself or for your child. If you really want to get into what's going on with your microbiome though, visit biomentals.com and make an appointment with me. Don't forget to share this with your friends, like and subscribe so you can hear more content like this. And feel free to share your recipes in the comments.